Welcome, once again, my fellow manipulators of digital fate. I'm Richie, this is Capricorn, and Dominaria United is on the horizon. We can't wait for the new set. We've got tons of cool deck brews in mind. We're so excited for it. With that, the channel is back full-time. There will be deck brews on the YouTube channel full-time moving forward, so please stay tuned to that. Today's deck is a very spicy one. It's centered around Skeletal Swarming. The idea is to get a consistent turn 3 Skeletal Swarming, and we have two completely different lines in order to result in this. And we've also got a Lolth as a backup, so if we can't hit Skeletal Swarming on 3, a lot of times we can at least hit Lolth on 3, and either one of those is just enough value to usually end the game. So all this week we'll be doing brews that are rotating out of standard soon, stuff we're not going to be able to play post-rotation. Just one last hurrah with some of our favorite decks, maybe some stuff you haven't seen yet. Next week, we're going to be doing all post-rotation brews, so it's all going to be decks that are still going to be in standard. They won't have Dominaria cards yet, but all of the decks will be very powerful and still playable after rotation in a couple weeks. If you haven't, please like the video, subscribe, comment, share, do all the things. We're really trying to grow the channel. It is a channel goal to hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and I feel super confident that we can do that as long as we keep putting out really cool deck techs and brews. So without further ado, let's get on with it. So this deck's called Obnoxious Swarm. Super stoked to be back doing Magic again. I can't wait to dig into this one. So it all starts with 4 copies of Skeletal Swarming. Now, Skeletal Swarming is important to have multiple copies of, because if you can happen to get a second copy into play, they kind of compound with each other and buff each other's skeletons, and it just gets absurd. So we absolutely need 4 copies. Now, in order to consistently have one of these in our hand on turn 3, or rather to have a powerful 5-drop in our hand on turn 3, we need 2 more 5-drops. So we've got 2 Lolths, and it makes sense to have Lolth be the 2 of instead of the 4 of because it's legendary. So we don't really want to see a second one of these, whereas we do want to see a second Skeletal Swarming. Now how we get there, we have 2 different play lines. So first off, we can play Shambling Ghast on turn 1, and then we can follow that up with a turn 2 Deadly Dispute. Normally we'll wait to chump block. You guys are probably used to this playline. Lots of decks have been doing this. But that results in 2 treasures, and then on turn 3 we drop our 3rd land, and we get our Skeletal Swarming. Or in some cases, Lolth. Now the other playline that I haven't seen many people do, turn 1 Goldhound into turn 2 Prosperous Innkeeper, turn 3 land, and that gives us our 5 treasures. The difference here is one of our treasures is the Goldhound, so when we sack the Goldhound to make mana for the Skeletal Swarming, it also counts as a creature dying this turn, which means at the end of turn we'll make 2 skeletons no matter what instead of 1. Sometimes it's hard to get those 2 skeletons on the first turn. With this Goldhound line, not only do we get Skeletal Swarming on turn 3, but we get 2 skeletons the very first turn that it's down, and that can be back-breaking, especially against control. Now, we've also got 3 copies of Esika's Chariot and 3 copies of Ob Nixilis. Now, this is a sort of secondary win condition in the deck. This is a pretty common combo that people use, where they'll get out Ob Nixilis and they'll get out Esika's Chariot. They'll use Esika's Chariot to make copies of the token copies of Ob Nixilis, so they can have 3, 4, sometimes even 5 copies of Ob Nixilis on the board and just completely roll over the opponent with value. Now, we're used to that. What's cool about this deck is the opponent can sometimes see that coming and prepare for that and not see our actual win conditions coming, which is really, really cool. We've also got 4 Fable of the Mirror Breakers, which is amazing because not only does it help to ramp us on turn 1 if they don't deal with the creature, and help us throw away some of the cards we don't need to actually get to our 5-drops to make sure we can play them, but once it flips and turns into Reflection of Kiki-Jiki, we can make copies of whatever we want. Sometimes we can make copies of a skeleton in order to boost up our other skeletons. Sometimes we can even do it mid-combat. Sometimes we can swing with an Esika's Chariot, make another skeleton, and also tap the Reflection of Kiki-Jiki to make another skeleton, and it gets absurd. Either Skeletal Swarming or Lolth here just works as an insane win condition. We've also got 4 copies of Gala Greeters because it doesn't necessarily fit into our playlines to get a turn 3 Skeletal Swarming, but what it does do is give us extra consistency on having lots of ways of generating treasure so that we can make sure we at least hit a turn 4 Skeletal Swarming or Lolth even when we can't hit a turn 3. It just ups the consistency there an insane amount and gives us a lot of value and just helps to make sure we get our win conditions out early. Because trust me, if we land these things and they can't deal with them, let's be honest, there aren't many things that can deal with them. Vanishing Verse won't hit a swarming. It's awesome. Usually we can just win the game outright. Now the last card we've got is 3 copies of Deadly Brew. And this is in here for a couple reasons. First of all, we usually have creatures we don't mind sacking, so it's pretty easy to trigger this thing and not feel like we lost anything substantial. What's very important about the Deadly Brew is a lot of times if they do deal with our Skeletal Swarming or our Lolth, or in some cases our Ob Nixilis or our Chariot, we can just Deadly Brew to get it back, and they probably don't have a second answer, which is awesome. But there's also a lot of games where just making them sack a creature as well can slow them down enough that we can get to our combo pieces and just completely roll over with value. So deck's pretty nuts. We've also got a lot of pathways and untapped lands, or slow lands I believe they're called, the ones that come into play untapped if they're your third land. In the mana base, it's important to make sure we can play a 1-drop on 1, so we have to be very careful to avoid the tri-land here. Even though you might think we should add a Jund tri-land, it really just slows down the deck too much. We need to make sure we're consistently hitting a 1-drop on turn 1, so we had to be very careful about our mana base. And we've got 1 copy of Lair of the Hydra and 1 Den of the Bugbear in here. Just extra ways to make creatures that we can sack if we absolutely need to trigger the Skeletal Swarming. Lair of the Hydra is the cheapest way to turn a land into a creature, to just sack to trigger the Swarming. And Den of the Bugbear makes tokens when it swings, and we can use those tokens to sack to stuff like Ob Nixilis or Deadly Dispute or Deadly Brew or whatever. And again, trigger Skeletal Swarming to get double the skeletons. So a lot of value packed in here, a lot of synergy, and dude, if you can get a consistent turn 3 5-drop, one of these powerful 5-drops, and your opponent doesn't deal with it, like, that's game. Now, you want me to put my money where my mouth is and prove it? Let's get on with it. This is fine. It's not great. Start with red here. Goldhound. Honestly, that top deck, I think, gave us our turn 3 swarming. Unless this guy wants to shock our Goldhound, which would be very sad. Nope, he's just going to play the Adversary. All we need to do is have our Goldhound survive this turn. And then we got it. Harvester. Oh, there we go. Turn 3 Skeletal Swarming. Is it good? Will it get there? We'll find out. So now he uses to play with fire. We get 2 skeletons. He's coming in hot. (3/1) Menace. We're gonna swing with our skeletons. Interesting. I wanted to play a second Innkeeper here, but I think we need to Deadly Brew, because I think I need some health. Make him get rid of his adversary, most likely. We'll get back an Innkeeper. Because next turn we should be able to Innkeeper into Innkeeper and gain a ton of life. These skeletons are just going to put in a ton of work, and I don't think he can catch up. I do not think he can catch up. Alright. Cracks a blood token, trying to find an answer. Turn 3 swarming's pretty rough. No blocks. We can just make all the life back with our Innkeepers. Swing with everybody. It's 10 damage. Never mind. That's 11 damage. We'll go Gala Greeters. Into Innkeeper. And then we'll get our skeletons. Gonna kill it with a voltage surge. That's fine. We'll get our life and our counter. We go up to 9. We can block the Blood Tithe Harvester with the Gala Greeters. I think we're in pretty good shape. Yeah, we got him. Turn 5 kill, I think. Alright, no red. That should be fine. We can keep it. This is not the optimum opening hand, but we're going to try and make it work. Alright, we do have a red. You know what? We'll play that next. And we'll lead with a Gala Greeter. This at least gives us a chance to have a turn 5 swarming. Alright. Looks like we're playing against Esper Raffine. So, let's see. How do we want to do this? We can't Gala Greeters into Innkeeper. If we really want, we can Innkeeper into Gala Greeters. I think we'll probably try that. Plays Raffine. I think we're going to try to Deadly Dispute the Innkeeper here. Play that. Play this boy. And we make a tapped treasure token. No attacks. Should be okay here. It's much slower than I want to be. But we should be okay. We really need to find a swarming ASAP. Honestly, I'm gonna discard the land and the other Gala Greeters. There we go. So we will swing both. Interesting. Yeah, that's fine. End turn, we get 2. So we'll make another treasure, and we'll put a counter on it. Ramping up those treasures for sure. Alright. Swings in with Raffine. Gonna connive once. Kind of wonder if he's gonna wipe the board. The underdog was a weird block, in my opinion. I'm just gonna do that.
You started this fight, but I'm going to end it.
Now we're gonna do this. Sack the Gala Greeter. Draw some cards, get more treasure. Seems fine to me. Play this on green. Swing one here, one here. It's a bummer that we can't force a sack. Alright, that should be fine. Now, he's got to have a sweeper, but it can't be a Fable. So I'm not super worried. It's possible that I maybe should have not overcommitted, as Finn in chat pointed out. But, we'll see. I feel like because of the mana he has, it was kind of okay. If he plays a normal Wrath, we're still left with the Chariot and the Swarming, which is incredibly strong. And he didn't have enough mana for Fable. Alright, we'll resolve that. My turn.
You are not much of a roadblock.
Alright, we'll go, those. We'll go that. And we'll swing in here and here. And then we'll use the Chariot to make another skeleton. And that should be game.
Until next
But if it isn't, we did kill the Wandering Emperor. There we go. We got it. Rebellious Bacon. The perfect kind. Right, Bandit? Bandit knows. We've got some Rebellious Bacon up in here. This looks fine. Keep 7. We will Ghast. And then I'm not sure if we Greeters or Innkeeper yet, to be honest. Really depends on if he kills our Ghast or not. Ledger Shredder. Well, if that's the case, we're going to play you. We're going to swing. And if he blocks it, he didn't. But if he had, we would have just played the Innkeeper. Because we would have had Swarming next turn. It's going to strangle the Gala Greeters, that's fine. We're still pretty close to making this work. And he's tapped out. At least for now. Alright, we'll play this for red. We'll play the Innkeeper. We'll play the Goldhound. Sure, go ahead and connive. I mean, we should be able to just go over the top, so I'm not super concerned. We've got our 5, including Goldhound. So if he taps out again, we very easily play the Swarming by sacking the Goldhound, which counts as a sack for the Swarming, which means we'll get 2 skeletons right away. And with a little bit of luck, we'll be able to follow that up with Lolth next turn. Expressive Iteration. See, we love to see it. We love to see him not holding up mana and tapping out. That means we can resolve our Swarming. That's all that really matters. Just resolve the Swarming, and we should be good. Especially against this color combination. Is he gonna swing? He is gonna swing. Ballsy. Ballsy, ballsy, ballsy. Alright, we're gonna swing with these boys. Because what we want him to do is maybe kill one of them. If we can get him to use up that last bit of mana, we can make sure he can't counter anything. Although I don't think there's any 1 mana counter spells in the environment. Oh! Spoke too soon. Ouch. Alright, alright, well. Now we have to come back. Should be fine. Izzy asked in chat, did you see my message about my Tuesday stream? No, I did not. Yeah, we got some big rips, that's for sure. I think we'll be okay, though. I think we will be okay. Make him sack his adversary. We'll get back our skeletal swarming. We will make a treasure. We will play a Fable. Yes, he gets to connive. I know, Finn, it's your favorite deck. Get all them ledger shredders. He is kind of running out of gas, though. But we're running out of life. Well, he is down to just 1 card in his hand. But he probably swings for lethal next turn. Which means we have to play the Lolth, right? I don't know if we're going to have time for swarming, to be completely honest. I think we need to hyper focus on the planeswalkers here. Alright, that'll give us some protection.
You require my aid again.
Next turn we should be able to Innkeeper and Ob. And then probably activate Lolth for 2 more spiders, gain some life. Keep gaining chump blockers against these shredders. I think that's the key. Oh, he's gonna rebuke.
Oh, you'll fall into my
painful.
web again.
4, 5, 6. I think we use this opportunity to kill the Ledger Shredder. I don't love it, but it does leave us with a chump blocker for the other Ledger Shredder next turn. I think we'll be okay. Next two attackers, we'll swing with this guy. Alright, and then we're gonna obby. We're gonna sack this boy. He's gonna connive. But does he dare discard a non-land? That's really the question. I think he's considering counterspelling one of them. But they're two spells, so you'd only deal with one.
I'm gonna remake this town in my way. The families call me their
Alright, that will give us a life.
Shake down the
This will give us 2 lives.
Good.
So we're at 4. We have a blocker. If he's got removal for the 2/1, then we have a problem. But if he doesn't, I think we're fine. Now we should be able to get enough life here. To not have a problem. So we're going to make another Innkeeper. We're going to go gain some life.
You work for me now, Ron.
We're going to go gain some life. Jawari Disruption. Autopay. We have the treasure. Spell Pierce. Alright. Is what it is. We will uptick. And then I think we need to leave him guessing.
Punishment is my entertainment.
Yeah, we're gonna leave this in our hand. Because we want to keep him guessing. He's trying to decide if he should kill an Ob Nixilis or just come for my head. I think he has to kill the Ob Nixilis, but I think he's going to be bold and come for my head. Problem is with the Ob Nixilis is out, we gain 4 life next turn. We do need to keep one of our devils, if possible, on the field to make sure we can gain the life. Just gonna swing at that guy. That's fine. I mean, that's basically like gaining 5 life, right? We gain 5 life in order for him to stop us from gaining 2. Seems fine to me. Once again, we're gonna do this. And we're gonna do this. Gain more life. We're gonna uptick. Gain some more life.
And you lose everything.
Next to combat. Tempted to swing with one of these. because he can't block it. If he blocks it, we get to kill one of his things. Yeah, let's try that. We can also turn the Lair of a Hydra into a 1/1 if we need to. Alright, put him at 4. Seems pretty good. Resolve all. That's fine. We've gained too much life at this point. I don't think it's going to matter. If he wants to kill the other Ob, he's going to have to swing with the 5/7. Thanks so much for checking out my channel. We are pushing hard for that 1,000 subscriber mark, so please consider subscribing. Hit that button. There's a circle in the middle over there. Hit that. Subscribe. Tell all your friends to do it. Thank you. Also, give this video a like so more people can see it. If you'd like more PlayStation and console game coverage, we've got that down below. And if you'd like more Magic the Gathering coverage, there's more of that somewhere off over that way. Do all the things.